This is seriously gonna screw things up come spring. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mindful Homestead. My name is Jack. I hope all of you out there in YouTube world and Facebook are having a wonderful week in between Christmas and New Year's. I hope you had a great Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or anything else, if you don't celebrate, whatever, I hope you're having a great week. We've had an interesting last few weeks here on the homestead. Christmas was great. We had some family over. We cooked a big old ham. Emma really enjoyed the presents that we got her. That's cool.
Well, it looks like it maybe comes with some of them.
And the presents that Santa brought too. But we've had some other things that we're dealing with too here on the homestead that I just wanted to mention and you know, talk about. One is going to be the weather, the crazy weather that we've had. We'll take a walk out into the field in a minute and chat about that. But some of the other things we've got going on. We've got a rodent problem apparently in our garage/barn. Jackie parks in there. We store feed in there. Last week, so a week before Christmas, we got in Jackie's car to move it out of the way so I could do some snow removal with the tractor, and it was running rough. I don't know, it just running rough, barely staying running. We called Ford and said, hey, we got to bring this thing in. Something's up with it. It's 2016. It's not supposed to be just running rough anywhere out of the blue. Tried to bring it in the following Monday, and dead pedal. Would start and idle super rough, but if you go to give it any throttle, it would not rev the RPMs at all. So we had it towed to Ford, and once they got into the engine, they started finding a whole bunch of rodent nests. They didn't find it. Well, they did find some mice, some little pinkies, but they found some other nests that were bigger and didn't have any babies in it. So they don't know what those were. Jackie's car is parked out here. My truck is parked out here currently. So we are in full-on rodent destroyer mode in the garage. I don't like doing it, but I've got poison out. I've got some snap traps out in there as well that we've been catching some mice in. I have a feeling that there may be a couple rats hanging around. We found one dead rat out here in the driveway a while ago, just in the middle of the driveway. No idea how or why it got there. I figured maybe a bird had dropped it, but maybe it ate some mouse poison that we had around and died. Either way, that was a fun little development. Let me grab a different hat. It's cold out here. Another thing we had going on was some weather blowing through. We had that storm that I talked about in the last video, the snowstorm. And then we had another system move through just a few days before Christmas. It was like a Thursday, Friday event. And it started off as a little bit of snow, and then a lot of rain, and then a little bit more snow. And all that rain combined with frigid temps that moved in after the storm led to an interesting flooding problem. I don't even want to walk here. I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna get off the driveway. What we ended up with was water running out of the maple grove up there that you see into the pasture, and then down over here, and then kind of spilling over these banks and popping out onto the driveway, which was something that happened while we were still working on this project. I'll throw a link up in the corner of that video and cut in some footage here. That's pretty deep. You can see over there, the skidder grapple's frozen in pretty good. And it's all just kind of running off right, pretty much directly in line from the house down to where I'm standing. And then out into the driveway. But we've had some drainage issues here in the past, and we knew this was where water ran out of the property. The logger who was in here with the excavator doing the stumping work, he dug some drainage, kind of a drainage channel out, and it's mostly followed that. But the water did spill over the banks right here behind me and into the driveway. No lie, this whole drainage thing is most likely going to cause us some problems come springtime, depending what winter looks like in terms of snowfall and and freeze cycles and things like that. The rain that we got was not an obscene amount. Yes, it was a lot of rain for this time of year, but overall it was 2, maybe 3 inches of rain, and the ground was frozen a little bit, so it didn't sink in as fast as maybe it should have. But it's definitely kind of a wake-up call to say, hey, this is something you're gonna have to fix. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm sort of happy that it happened the way it did, where it rained and then it froze solid, because it's giving me clues as to how to best mitigate this whole issue and figure out how we're gonna fix it. With as much rain as we got and then everything freezing solid before it had a chance to drain entirely, I can see now where water runs, where the main paths of drainage are, where it's coming from. It kind of gave itself away and left me markers to see what I have to deal with and where that water wants to go, and then the easiest places to move it. Because if you think about a situation like this, the easiest way to move water when you have a big wide open space, essentially you're just taking dirt from the high areas where you don't mind water going and moving that dirt to lower areas where you don't want the water to be. Water is always going to follow the path of least resistance down a hill. So if you have an area where you don't mind the water and it's high, shift that to the area where the water is. It's pretty obvious that right here is the low point. And you can see some water drains off toward the driveway there, but most of it continues right down that way, out to the rock wall. So right there is where the water's coming from, and then over here is the high spot. Now, I'm not an excavating contractor, but I know enough to know if I take dirt from over here where it's high and dry and shift it to over there where the water is running, I should be able to build a berm that takes the water from that low spot by that maple tree on the corner and funnels it from there over to here. And if you come over here and look, you can actually see there's a little bit of a natural stone dam here. It's not natural, it was placed here by people at some point, with water behind it that's draining from the left side of this fence line, the logging road that goes to the back. But it's pretty much a straight shot from here to that maple tree on the corner right there where the water's coming out into the field. My thought, like I said before, is that if I take dirt from over here behind me and shift it to over there, I should be able to build up enough of a berm where I can divert the water on a straight path to where I am. And even if I can't take it up into this little drainage pool here above this little rock and earth dam, at least bring it out to here where there's a natural low point that funnels it along the rock wall out to the edge of the property. I mean, you can see if we walk over here to look at the rock wall, our property is relatively high, but if you look behind the rock wall, it's sort of a natural drainage that even has running water in it right now, despite the fact that the temps have been super low for the last few days. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I guess I'm utilizing my phone a friend lifeline on this one, friends being all of you out there. I'm thinking the work could be accomplished probably best with a small dozer. Could probably be done with an excavator, but the smaller bucket on an excavator moving dirt that way, or the blade on an excavator as well, I think the best way to do it would actually be to use a small dozer. But as you can see, coming up here, looking at the water that's flowing out of this area, I got to do something about it. You might be saying to yourself, but Jack, why do you need to divert the water so sharply? Can't you let it run a little bit out into the pasture and then just kind of bring it over there? That would be an option if all we wanted to do out here was run animals. I could put down seed. It would germinate in the drier areas. In the areas where it was wet, you could plant stuff that grew a little bit better in wet environments. Eventually it would silt in and, come back. But what we want to do is kind of the area where I'm standing right now, kind of butting up against the driveway here, is we want to put in a hoop house. And nobody ever had good luck growing things in a hoop house with a stream running through it. So if I can get, 85, 90-foot swath off the driveway back from here where I can level it and keep it dry, that's where the hoop house is going to go. That's where it's going to get the best all-day sun kind of coming up and over. That's what we're going to do there. Because if I was just worried about the water running out into the driveway, that would be super easy to mitigate with just an earthen berm over there. The pasture itself would not be a huge issue with some water running through it in the spring. That would work out just fine. We just have to keep the animals away of it so that they don't trump it up. But with a hoop house being a structure, you don't want water running through it. You're not going to grow good stuff in there. You're going to lose a whole lot of real estate. You want to divert the water around the hoop house if you can. If you have an idea on what to do with all this, leave it in the comments down below. Like I said, I'm not an excavating contractor. I don't have a ton of experience running heavy equipment in that, in the earth moving side of things. What I'm really looking for is a solution where I can rent a machine for, at most maybe a week and get out there in the spring. Probably not in the spring. I've got to let things dry out a little bit, but get out there sometime next summer and move some dirt around to get that water off the center of the pasture and get that dried out there. Normally I'd say if you like this video or you learned something, make sure to hit that subscription button down below. Obviously you didn't learn anything. This is me showing kind of how much I need to learn in this video. But if you liked kind of, I don't know, if you want to watch more of what we're doing, hit that subscribe button and just watch more on the channel. Otherwise, as always, we thank you for watching and I hope you're having a great day. Bye.